Hi, my name is Rick Taylor. I'm from Springfield, Missouri, and I have a sawmill. That may be pretty obvious looking around, but let me tell you how I got into sawmilling. I was doing woodworking. I have a shop, and I was doing woodworking, building different things and selling them as a hobby. But I got to where I couldn't get my wood supplier, just wasn't very dependable. So I decided, hey, I need to look at doing something else to get a little better source of supply. And I started looking on some of these YouTube videos and saw that a lot of these guys were buying their own sawmill and then doing their sawmilling to build their own stuff. Some were building homes and stuff. I just wanted to be able to cut wood for projects. And so I looked around and decided to buy a Woodland Mills HM126. And the reason I chose Woodland Mills sawmill, it wasn't because it was made in Canada, but it was because I had a certain amount in my mind that I wanted to be able to pay back within 2 years. Well, and when I looked at the American made, it would cost twice as much to get the same mill as I got, the HM126. It would cost twice as much to get an American made one. So I went to Canada and bought the HM126. Woodland Mills makes a smaller one and a larger one, but after looking at some videos of the job that they did, I felt like that the HM126 was the best fit for me. And I was concerned about how long it would take me to pay me back for the sawmill. And so anyway, so we bought the HM126. It took us 3 days to put it together because it was all in crates, and that was a journey in itself. But then after we got together and got to sawing, I was surprised at how many people in my area were looking for cuts of wood like I had been for woodworking purposes. And so I've been able to do pretty well. In fact, I paid the sawmill off, or paid me back for the sawmill, in 9 months. And that was way ahead of schedule, and my wife was very pleased with that because she didn't think I'd be able to do that. But we did, and it was very nice to be able to say I'd paid it off in less than a year. So now let me tell you a little bit about, I started out with using Woodland Mills blades, saw blades, but then after listening to different people on YouTube and stuff, I went to Jerry's Resharp in Kentucky because I'd heard that they sold a really good blade called the Ripper 37. And so first of all, I went there and I bought the standard blade, 144-inch blades, and used them on my sawmill and really have been pleased with them. And then I saw that a lot of these guys are going to 1.5-inch blade instead of 1.25 inch. So I ended up changing over to 1.5-inch blades. Now obviously I've got a bunch of 1.25-inch blades I'm not going to just trash. So I'm using 1.25 and 1.5 and working between the two sizes. The 1.5-inch blade are 0.050 thick, and the 1.25 are 0.045 thick. But I have to adjust the tracking whenever I put the different ones on, but it works fine. And in fact, I really like the 1.5-inch blades because they seem to hold the edge longer. I seem to be able to get more life out of them. And so eventually, as soon as I go through the 1.25 inch long enough, because I am getting them resharpened by a local guy, as soon as those are worn out, then I'll have nothing but 1.5 inch. But right now I'm kind of working between the two sizes. The reason that I chose the HM126 had to do with the size of log that I could put on it. Now the HM122, you could only put a 22-inch diameter log on it, and I felt like that was a little small. The HM 130, you could put a 30-inch diameter log, but to be honest with you, I don't have a tractor. I don't have a lot of equipment to move these things around, so I thought a 26-inch log would be plenty big for me to put on the sawmill. And so I went with the HM 126 because I felt like the speed of it, and also got the 14.5 horsepower Kohler engine on it, and that was important to me to get the bigger engine, because I didn't want to go to the smaller engine, and I just felt like it would be more feasible for me, and I would be able to get through a log a little quicker. Now this sawmill is manual. It doesn't have any hydraulics, so I've made a couple of changes on it. The winch that came with it was a hand crank, like a boat winch, and that just worked my shoulders something terrible. I couldn't stand some of the pain that I was getting in my shoulder from doing that. So I went to a power winch on it, and it's worked out really well for me. Also on raising the head up and down, it had a crank also, and I've taken that crank off, and I've put a fitting on there, and I work it with a cordless drill. It just works faster and better, and I haven't had any problems with it. It does a good job, and I don't have to sit there and do all this cranking. And so that's two ways that I've changed, the mill. But most of the things I've just left as is, and it works well. Yes, I would love to have hydraulics, but it's just, I couldn't justify it. So that's the reason why I have a manual mill. But I cut a lot of wood with it, and it does a good job. And I really can't complain about anything. The quality of the sawmill, it's heavy steel, it's good steel. It works well, and it does a good job. It cuts, like I say, if there's any problems, it's usually because I did something wrong, not because of the mill is not operating properly. And that's what I found. Most every problem that I've had with it is because I wasn't doing this or doing that. I was running too much water, and the blade was coming off because I was running too much water. Different things like that that were basically my fault. Now the project we're doing today, this is one of the logs here. These are called water oaks. I found out by Googling that water oak is part of the red oak family, and these are heavy logs. I looked it up, and this log we're going to do today is about 1,600 pounds, and that may be the heaviest log I've done so far, but I've done some that were pretty close. But anyway, we're gonna do a heavy log today, and it's about 22, 23 inches in diameter, not real round, and that always complicates things. But fortunately, when I get ready to do this other log here, it's a lot more round, and it'll be a lot easier to do than this log that I've got on, or that I'm going to put on the mill. But on this one log we're going to do today, we're just going to cut slabs. I hope I don't have to turn it very much, because it'll be hard to turn. But I got my friend Chuck here, and he's going to help me turn it if we have to. But anyway, we're going to cut slabs out of it, and slabs can be used for a lot of different things. I have a lot of woodworkers that really like buying slabs, and it's a hobby that I really enjoy. I quit woodworking for the very reason I want to spend more time with my sawmill, and I also have a kiln back here behind me that I dry wood now, and it works really well. It's solar powered. I do have a dehumidifier that I can put in it, but I haven't had to this summer, so we'll see how it goes for the winter. But anyway, we're gonna cut this this water oak log up into slabs, and the fun thing is going to be winching it up on the sawmill.
Just towards you, or?
Yeah, toward me. All right, a little more. All right, it's up. 25. When you have to drag a log, that's the problem with dragging a log. It gets all this dirt and rocks and stuff in it. All right, we're clean. Look how pretty that is.